So far in 2025, we've gotten some absolutely phenomenal video game experiences like the first Berserker Kazan, Monster Hunter Wilds, and of course Expedition 33 right now is dominating. This is a AA game that has already sold over 1 million copies in just a few days, and the team has talked about how speechless they are and how blown away they are with people's support. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, this game has launched to some serious competition, like just a couple of days ago, Oblivion Remastered was shadow dropped, and I was personally so worried that Expedition 33 was going to be completely overshadowed by that, because it is definitely very difficult to compete with a game that people have so much love and nostalgia for, and people have waited for so many years for a remaster or a remake of, but this game has certainly held its own. Yes, we do know that it went on to Xbox Game Pass day one, and it is still selling millions of copies already. So, 24 hours after release, we had found out that this game had sold over 500,000 copies, and they have not released Game Pass numbers yet. So really, this game might have 2 to 3 to 4 million people that have already played it, but we do know copies sold, and now 3 days later, it is at 1 million, which is phenomenal to see. I love seeing developers thrive, especially when they're creating a new experience. They're not taking a existing franchise and rebooting it and remaking it. They're not doing that here. They've created something completely new, really fresh, really unique, and just really phenomenal. I mean, this game is gorgeous. It plays extremely well. I have faced no technical difficulties within the experience so far, and the storytelling is just really wholesome and honestly kind of depressing at times, pretty heartbreaking. It just is a really great game overall, and now they're, selling this game like hotcakes, which is super cool to see. So going over to this game's radar article, it talks about how speechless the team is. Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, the first game from a studio filled with ex-Ubisoft devs, is officially the best rated games of 2025. Now, I had done another video yesterday on Clair Obscur Expedition 33, and I talked about how this title is outshining all of Ubisoft's releases in the past year. I mean, of course, we had Skull and Bones, which was a quadruple A failure. We don't know how much money exactly went into that, but people have heard that it's upwards of $500 million. I personally think it's 300 to 400 million. Regardless, though, it's a heck of a lot of money. That game launched on Steam a few months after release to only a couple thousand people for the all-time concurrent peak player count. Same with Star Wars Outlaws, and of course, then we had Assassin's Creed Shadows launch not all that long ago, and its all-time peak couldn't even top 70K, but this is already over 100,000, which is funny to just see the stark difference between what ex-Ubisoft devs are doing and what modern Ubisoft devs are doing. I mean, this is a team of only 30 people who have created what, in my opinion, so far is a fantastic experience, certainly a Game of the Year contender for me, and what the modern Ubisoft developers are doing is creating piles of trash that nobody wants to play. This is what happens when you have thousands upon thousands of people working on one project. Everybody is not kind of in agreement. Not everybody sees the same vision for the end product. And, well, they're just churning out the same things over and over and over, just with a new coat of paint, versus creating a really unique experience. I mean, it's clear as day that Sandfall Interactive has kind of struck gold here. Over the past couple of years, we've seen a lot of companies purchase studios and their ongoing projects thinking that they're going to become big IPs. Look at what happened with Bandai Namco purchasing Reflector Entertainment. They thought that Unknown Nine Awakening was going to be a smashing success, and it turned out to be a flop. We saw Sony purchase Firewalk Studios thinking that Concord was going to become a big new hit. None of that has actually happened, but in this case, I mean, we can see the big new kind of IP on the block getting the attention that, in my opinion, so far it deserves. So it says, our Clair Obscur Expedition 33 review is overflowing with praise for developer Sandfall Interactive's turn-based RPG, and it seems that so is everyone else. By the way, we've heard for years that, oh, turn-based RPGs are a thing of the past. We've heard that old tire narrative now be totally and completely crushed, which is great. The scores have settled. Expedition 33 is now the best-rated game on Metacritic and OpenCritic for 2025, and nobody is more surprised than the developers themselves. Speechless, Sandfall said about the news on Twitter/X. So many incredible games have been released this year. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I think that this is so great. And it's nice to actually see a team of developers not come out and like make controversial statements, not, laugh in their kind of, I guess we'll just say opponents' faces, right? Their competition's faces. They're very humble. They are so grateful for the support they've had, and I could not be more happier for them. It says OpenCritic, meanwhile, tabulates scores slightly differently. Blueprints is ranked 4th at an 89 over there, and puts Expedition 33 at a full point ahead of Split Fiction and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which are tied for 2nd place, according to its data. So far this year, my game of the years are the first Berserker Kazan, Expedition 33, I'm not done it yet, but I definitely think this is going to be a contender. Monster Hunter Wilds, and there have been some other good games that have launched this year, but those are the 3 standouts to me personally. It says this milestone was also paired with the news that Expedition 33 has already sold 500,000 copies, and that's not the case anymore because now we know that it has sold over 1 million copies, which is super, super cool to see. This other article talks about it, and that, of course, is without Game Pass taken into account. Now, Game Pass developers don't really make a lot off of Game Pass. It's not like Game Pass is making them a giant chunk of change because they do typically, get advances to be able to finish a game. And then for Game Pass, they have exclusive rights to publish it within that subscription service, though the game is actually selling fantastically, never mind with Game Pass downloads. It says it follows a group of expeditioners who have set out to destroy the entity known as the Paintress. If you have not played this game so far, I highly recommend you at least check it out. I've been live streaming a playthrough so far. It's been super good, and I'm clearly not the only person that thinks that. Right now, it is sitting at a 9.7 user score over on Metacritic. It is receiving tons of praise. 97% of the ratings, or 2.3K, are positive. Only 1%, or 26, are mixed, and 2%, which are 50, are negative. And from what I've seen from the negatives, it's really just people trying to say that, oh, it doesn't deserve all of the hype that it's getting. It's not a terrible game, but it doesn't deserve this hype, which, if that's how you feel, okay. But I think that those voices are definitely being drowned out right now by the plethora of positivity that is surrounding this game. Clair Obscur is what modern Final Fantasy should feel like. You guys know I love Final Fantasy 16. I think that it's a great experience. Ben Starr is a phenomenal actor, and I mean, he was the star of 16. He's the star of Expedition 33, or one of the stars of Expedition 33. So I guess I just really like Ben Starr. But Final Fantasy would make a hell of a lot more money if they went back to their older formula, that's for sure. And I hope now that Square Enix kind of wakes up to that and says to themselves, you know what? We've been going in this new modern direction, and we're going to abandon that now because we can see what people actually want. Players have been asking for a modernized take on an old school JRPG, and Expedition 33 delivers on all fronts. The story, music, combat design, and exploration are all top tier. This is a game that needs to be experienced. This RPG is an absolute masterpiece, definitely one of the best games of this year, and one of the best of all time. Best RPG I've ever played, the lore, music, story, or the best I've seen. Congrats, Sandfall. This is not just a game, it is a wake-up call to AAA game companies everywhere that it is okay to take risks, to experiment, to be unorthodox, and to simply make a game they want to see made with no inhibitions on creativity. That is what Sandfall Interactive has done with Clair Obscur, Expedition 33. And I hope to see more developers learn from this. This is my current game of the year, 10 out of 10. I think once I've actually finished the game, it will definitely be my game of the year. It is just that fucking good. And over on Steam, it's doing great. I always have thought it's funny because there are people who say when a game launches on Game Pass, you can't expect the Steam numbers to be good, which this has completely broken that narrative yet again, because the all-time peak 3 hours ago was 121,422. And sure, there are games that have launched with significantly higher numbers, right? Like a Black Myth Wukong or Hogwarts Legacy. But this is a AA game. This is Standfall Interactive's first big game of this caliber, I would say. And you also have to take into consideration that this all-time peak is even crushing Ubisoft games. So the ex-Ubisoft devs are crushing modern-day Ubisoft because, like, look at Assassin's Creed Shadows. It's nowhere near these numbers, which I just think is so freaking hilarious. I mean, the all-time peak was 64,000. And of course, when it comes to single-player games, as people play them and they finish them, those player counts fall off. So there's only 10,000 in-game right now. But 64K all-time peak on Steam versus what we saw for Clair Obscur Expedition 33, which is significantly higher, is just awesome. So I will be keeping my eye on this game. Of course, like I mentioned, I have been live streaming a full playthrough on the channel tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern. I'll be continuing it, but it has been a great experience so far, deserves all the hype that it's getting, and it's great to see developers who are taking risks thrive. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.